thee, have you considered my servant Job? There still maintains his integrity, though you incited me against him to ruin him without any reason. Skin for skin, Satan replied. A man will give all he has for his own life, but stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he will surely curse you to your face. The Lord said to Satan, very well, then he is in your hands, but you must spare his life. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. Then Job took a piece of broken pottery and scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes. His wife said to him, are you still holding on to your integrity? Curse God and die. He replied, you are talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? In all this, Job did not sin in what he said. I used to think, and many of us Christians think that way, that when trouble hits your door, that means that you're not doing something right. I want to talk to you. I want to encourage you. Many of us think that when you start going through all type of affliction and things, that something must not be right with you. I found out that when I went through something that is because I just don't have enough faith. Oh, baby, just have faith and everything gonna be all right. But I want because of the righteous position that he took. Sometimes we go through stuff because of who we are in God. And it's not always something, it's not that we are perfect, but it's not always something that God is punishing us, but what God is really doing, he's testing us, because ultimately what he want to do is to bring us to a place of double portion and all. Took his children away. Even it came to the point that Job was sick. How do we deal with the process? How do we deal with things and you are going to go through? Can you stand to be blessed? Righteousness of God, even when everything around you is happening in your life. Now, I can be on Job all day long, but I'd rather talk about myself and my testimony. He said, Harmon, you're going to go through some things. I'm going to take you through something. Because I realized he didn't let me go through it before because he knew I wasn't strong enough to go through. But now he said, now, I got to do something in your life now. Now, I'm like everybody else. I thought it would be 6 months, 2 months. I thought, and then God gave me a promise. He'll give you a promise in the midst of what you're going through. He said, Harmon, you're going to be a wealthy man. Because I'm going through in 2-3 months, God going to bless me and make me a rich man. Y'all ever done that? Because you ain't got the faith to believe for 5 years or 10 years. You ain't nowhere in the world. You going through something, I got to deal with this for 5 years. I was caught up on the from the kid house. Double prize. I really expected that, but God gave me a dream too, and he said, I was so disappointed. So I'm crying, Lord God, why didn't you? I had on one sock. That's all I remember. I just had on one beautiful, beautiful sock, like a royal sock. The rest of it just regular clothes. But I had one royal sock. I said, Lord God, what are you trying to tell me? He would let me know that I'm clothing you, but you ain't fully clothed yet. Off. And then let him clothe me. The royal sock means that he have started a process. And just tap the word the next day. No, they ain't cheap. Cost you your life. It comes with a price. Naturally, I was disappointed that he told me I only had one sock on. Man, I thought, much as I've been going through, I'm surely, I've come a little further than that, but I had a sock. About 2 months later, I should be fully dressed. That didn't work either. So what happened in the process, Sheila, I didn't know my wife back then, but I ended up to pay for my house payment. But I was going to be rich, though. Surely God ain't going to allow me to lose my home. No, no. Because other Christians said, God. Preachers said on TBN that you have reached the year of seven, then God's going to bless you. I never forget Bishop Jake, and nothing about him is about me, but I remember I went to see him. He came to Austin, Texas, and I went to see him, and I just needed a word from the Lord. I was doing bad, and he said, now this is year 1997. I want you to sow $20-something, and that you're going to come out of this situation. Man, I was so happy to sow my seed. But guess what? I didn't come out of it. Some things you can't buy yourself out of. You got to go through the process. God ain't moved by a number. I get tired every year. It's restoration. 7 means something. 8 mean this. 8 mean that. No, God don't bless us based upon a number. He blesses us all based upon us being in the right place that he wants us to be. God just blessed us for a number. Every whoremonger would be blessed as well because it's 7. No, he don't do that. Got to the place, there are some things that God began to share, told me just give it up. And I came back happy, and the first thing I was greeted when I came back home was a foreclosure notice. I threw foreclosure. And you cannot hurt me. I bind you in the name of Jesus. And guess what? I got back home only for my wife to tell me that she was pregnant, and threatened to take my 2 children. When she told me that news, I got on my couch and I laid down. I couldn't. I'm trying to help somebody. But I realized, oh yeah, it was nice talking about all the promises. But he was preparing me. And I realized this. It's for you. That I found out through it all that God not only is the God of light, but he's the God of darkness too. He's just not the God of daylight, but he's the God of darkness. And if you're going through a dark place in your life, God is there. Now watch this. Years later, I'm in a season in my life with my wife. I've been married now for 14 years, and God have really blessed us immeasurably. And I tell my wife all the time, I'm rich. But I'm not talking about material things. I'm rich in God. He gave me what I asked. Now I'm an apostle. Now I'm able to speak divine revelation, but revelation don't come cheap. I had to go through some things in order to get to a place that I can speak into people's lives. But I'm asking this question. Can you stand? Will you stand?